All right. Well, it's the last office hours for the year. I don't expect the US team already got a office hours this week. I think they're taking time off, most of them anyway. So this is going to be very much a stretch project for us. So it's going to be quite one. So we don't expect anyone to, a lot of people going to turn up in this call. But yeah, so we've got a few things to announce, particularly around, the version one, as well as the upcoming office hours and what we expect, and we're hoping to get feedback from everyone. So I'll announce it in the video as well as in the LinkedIn posts, social media, and Discord, and so on. So yeah. All right, I'll start with the acknowledgement of countries, and then we'll go from there.
We would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we live and work throughout Australia, as well as the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people viewing this event today. We pay our respects to elders both past, present and emerging, and recognise and celebrate their continuing connection to land, waters and community. Our reverence also extends to all First Nation and Indigenous peoples, as well as their ancestral lands.
We acknowledge the Tangata Whenua, the Indigenous people of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and their enduring connection to the land, waterways, and culture. We pay our respects to their ancestors, their current leaders, and their future generations. We recognize the rich heritage of the Maori people and honor the importance of their language, traditions, and customs in shaping their identity of this country. All right, so let's move on. So welcome to the last office hours for the year.
All
so
right,
I don't want
so
to
let's
get
get
started.
welcome
So
to.
my name is Vic.
All right.
I'm see. It seems that I clicked it too much. There you go. I'm just gonna keep it pause. Clicked it too much. Had a bit of a must click happy hours sort of holidays. Yeah, so welcome to the APAC NZ Semantic Kernel public office hours. So this is the last office hours for the year. So we've run probably more than 8 now office hours since we got the opportunity to run it within our region. So looking forward to next year, but at the same time, it's great to reflect all the various community work that we've done, all the contribution from the community for the past year. And despite all the, I guess, tremendous amount of changes within the kernel and the various things around that, we managed to kind of persevere and be able to kind of went through all, and now we come up with version one, which is expected to be, the long-term stable release of Semantic Kernel. And there's a lot of improvements since Semantic Kernel came out probably about 6 months ago. Starting from the Planner version 1, and then now we're at Planner version 4 and 5, which is going to be a pretty amazing set of improvements. So let me just click that and don't have any further accident in this. So we've got view videos came out, but there's not a lot given it's a holiday edition. So one thing that I wanted to sort of highlight here is the hackathon. So recently we had a hackathon for the whole, pretty much global. Hopefully anyone, I don't know if anyone in APAC actually submitted. I saw there's great bunch of submissions in there. But I wanted to highlight one of the submissions and the winner of all the various finalists. And there's amazing scenarios starting from kind of enterprise usage to building some sort of like a complete app using a quiz and so on, and using a architecture that is supposedly scalable, using Olama, which is very interesting. Some NuGet package that was built as well, So that's pretty cool. And there's also some guy actually built something for his side project to fly his drone using Semantic Kernel. So it's pretty cool. So check that out if you haven't. Because I can see that only 3 of us joining the call. So yeah, so there's 2 videos there. Again, apologies. So that actually happens. So a quick one. I'm gonna revisit this one. The main thing that we wanted to get out of this meeting, and I wanted to sort of get everyone's feedback later on, and obviously, if you're here anyway, so if you can fill in that survey, or anyone as well that watches that's watching this recording, to fill it in, to get a bit of ideas around what we should change in 2024. So it's a good sort of a junction for us to think about what we should do, what we should change, what worked well, and so on. And it would be great to get a bit of feedback from everyone there. Cool. So the hackathon. Congrats to the hackathon winner. Blaze Gill it's pretty cool GitHub sort of handle. So he or she built a NuGet package that is used to add Olama AI LLM for Semantic Kernel to be added to, as part of Semantic Kernel. So they built this NuGet package that you can use. So it's amazing. So it's basically a reusable piece of work. And I think the kind of the committee kind of decided that, given the potential of the use of this NuGet package, as well as another project. So they submitted Kogi AI, kind of another app that was built by Blazekill, kind of showcase the whole different parts of Semantic Kernel using memories, using kind of planners and so on, and plugins. So that's pretty amazing, that application. That's you can actually access it in there. I don't think it's running at the moment. I just saw it. I just tried it a few hours ago, but certainly there's a video on that as well. So that's the link. Again, what it can do, it's quite cool. So basically, the inspiration for this is that they wanted to build some sort of a knowledge, set of knowledge, or set of internal sort of knowledge to help students to learn more about set of topics. So that's starting from like physics, algebra. There's a number of topics in there. Python and everyday life, all those various topics that kind of being added as part of the knowledge in there. And what's interesting about this is the whole process of building not only the Semantic Kernel and having it as a sort of a monolith app, making it scalable, or making it sort of kind of a scale out version of this, or componentize all of the various components within the application. Uses I think Kubernetes or container apps. I can't really confirm that, but yeah, some sort of effectively set of containers that they use, and it uses GitHub Actions, allows you to kind of scale each of these components, and it integrates to Azure as well. So definitely it's Azure AI Search and Cosmos DB for their memory, as well as for that knowledge component part. So yeah, so it's definitely a pretty good example of how Semantic Kernel can be used, and I think it used RC3, or if not RC4, but it's as close as can get to version 1. So it's amazing to see that even got built, right? Despite all the various changes that were happening last few weeks. as the team pushed out version 1. Cool. So with that, another thing that just came up, just a flash, is version 1. So version 1 is out. So it's pretty much the gift from the project team. They kind of set the date, or kind of the target, to be at the end of the year. Is a good, again, good junction, good checkpoint for everyone to sort of separate 2023 to the new year. So version 1 is out. It does mean that there's a lot of the features that are built in, a lot of decisions that we have, that the team have gathered from the community, are already baked in here. And we do expect that the rate of changes from now on, it should be well sort of managed compared to the pre-release or the experimental sort of release. So yeah, it's going to be a great opportunity for all of us to try it out. If you have no plans, or if there's a plan for you to experiment and do a bit of a POC, this is really the time. And it is no longer a POC proposition as well. So it's something that you can try it out in production. And the team has done a tremendous job on done a number of testing, including the handlebars that were included. There's a number of various improvements around the reliability of that, and they tested it internally to basically confirm that compared to the previous sort of planner, the level of kind of hallucinations and so on, as soon as they hit a number of plugins, a number of steps, it's just becoming a little bit uncontrollable. Whereas with the handlebar, it's more reliable. Another announcement that I wanted to highlight is also Chat Copilot. So you would have seen that in the last office hours. I think Matthew mentioned as well. Chat Copilot is going to be potentially going to be in maintenance mode. So the reason for that is really the team is wanting to focus more on Chat Copilot is a really good test bed, right? So just going back to that, right? So it's a good test bed, good bit of I guess a showcase placeholder, or a playpen environment for us to actually test out different capabilities within Semantic Kernel. And now with the version 1 coming out, it is apparent that the community wants kind of a more real world representation of Semantic Kernel, how it's being used in the real world. And Chat Copilot, is a pretty much a monolith application. So as you see in that plugin winner and so on, they talk about sort of compartmentalize all these various components within the application to make it easy to scale. So that is kind of the main sort of rationale, that the team is focused more on building a real world sort of use cases and sort of enterprise scenarios. So hopefully that we'll come up with better examples and different sort of scenarios as well. Cool. If there's any questions, just let me know. I know that we're pretty intimate sort of set of groups in here, so it's great. Yeah, going back to this, right? So I really love this slide, and I think this was in the last office hours as well. Matthew talked about kind of the back to the core functionality of what Semantic Kernel is, and it really amalgamates, kind of summarizes all the various capabilities within the kernel. So, there's two parts, as you can see here, right? So invoke prompt function, and then there's also a function returning that result. And in that, you also have ability to select different models, from Azure, from OpenAI, or from the open source. Even the community actually built that Olama, a NuGet package that can be added to your kernel, and uses the newer method of using a builder, kernel builder, which is really cool. And within here, we can see that, starting from a selection of AI servers, rendering that prompt, being able to customize it with handlebar, and then invoking that AI service. So you get that opportunity to kind of customize what you're going to be sending to LLM, which is giving that power. And it increases the level of uncertainty in terms of the response, and that's going to be really helpful for as we sort of build more production related scenarios. And there's also responsible AI within here, where like a number of sort of things that you can actually do with function result is to have that pre and post hooks ability within the kernel that allows you to do some filtering and additional checks on that. There's sort of one of the main questions around semantic kernel, which I believe will be a very hot topic next year, is around security. That would be a challenge in most enterprise sort of scenarios, as well as ISVs or I guess SaaS companies that wanting to build this, where you've got a plethora of LLMs, and the different sort of functionality and different sort of models that will produce will have a very varying set of results, and you need a way for you to control that, and that would be an interesting aspect of that. Any further comments from anyone on this? And what do you like most about version 1? I guess if you already had a look at it, there's probably a lot of discussions already in Discord, and as well as in GitHub as well. It was funny. The version 1 was dropped when all the DI.
The DI stuff. That was the big change for me, but it was also the highlight for me, because I think being able to properly inject those into services, and that was made my code a lot cleaner.
Absolutely.
Or will do once I finish rewriting it all.
Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna be great, because there's also a bit of a comparison with a high level, where how LangChain kind of conducts their I guess building their sort of planning, if you will, like sequencing sort of different plugins, and the way they stitch all the plugins and the tooling and the parameters. It's with DI, it's a lot I guess easier for you when you have certainty that your application is going to have those dependencies throughout your application,
because if you're using something like, I mean, I'm finding if I'm using, and now this obviously Python, I don't know how they do it in Python, but for the ASP.NET ones, if you're creating an MVC, an API, an MVC API, creating scoped services for each semantic kernel use case, and then instantiating those as, or injecting those into whatever API page, that's been really slick. I think that's made just a lot less code. Vic, have you got the slide that I remember Matthew showed where he compared the code, or is that he compared the the LangChain with the semantic kernel code?
Yeah, I do have that, but I'll probably just
jumped ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
No, that's fine. I do have it. If you got it, happy for you to share it. If not, I'll share it after, kind of at the end of this.
I'll let you share it after the end. Yeah. Don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, that was really good around were you thinking about the LangChain comparison and
Yeah, just
SK?
the ceremony in getting a semantic kernel object up. It's the code, when you're adding, adding the models, you're adding functions, or not functions, you're adding plugins to the model, and you're adding assistants. All of that stuff is really cleanly defined now. It's much cleaner code than it used to be. My big question is, I don't know what it looks like for Python. I don't know how Python does DI. Anyone on the call do Python? Anyone know how DI works in Python? Or are we all just .NET coders?
I think Danny might have played around a little bit with Python with LangChain, and this will be quite interesting for you as well, Danny. So
yeah,
I
did. Yeah, well, with LangChain, it's pretty much just chaining. That we didn't do anything advanced on LangChain. It's mainly just a proof of concept. We didn't do any dependency injection or anything like that. So yeah, not sure how DI works. We didn't use Python either. We just used JavaScript node.
Oh, okay, right.
Okay.
Oh, well, I mean, this is the one. This is the one I meant. Yeah, this is a great diagram of how things, how the code has changed.
Yeah, and I think sort of Matthew described this already, and what he likes about it is, or also I like about it as well, is being able to, less obviously less code, but at the same time it makes it a little bit more logical, where you can create a class and you can define a function within that within the class, where you basically have to create like tools in LangChain sort of way of doing things. So it's a little bit self-contained in a way. And then the builder components with the dependency injection has all of the various functionalities. So you don't have to kind of go through all that, adding different, I guess, libraries, if you call it, within LangChain. And yeah, it's I guess it seems to be a little bit easier to understand as well.
Yeah, I love the way you can, the declarative way you define plugins, especially if you're a .NET coder. This is quite familiar, and it's way improved compared to the old way. I used to do define my plugins using the old YAML syntax that they had, where you had two files, and then you did an import, and it was pretty ugly. I think this is way better. I don't know if anyone's using any of the old methods. How do you, Danny? How did you guys define plugins at all, or were you pretty much keeping it simple?
Yeah, we just kept it simple. We didn't do any plugins. For us, it's just we just used all the ready-made plugins that's available in LangChain.
Gotcha. You will when you join. Yeah, if you bypass all of the old semantic kernel and go straight to version 1, plugins are way cleaner. The old versions of doing plugins were pretty. They were okay. They weren't the best.
Yeah.
But now they're way cleaner.
Does the semantic kernel now support Vision, the OpenAI Vision?
So no, I don't believe it does yet. So well, hang on, Victor, because obviously it's the Vision GPT-4V model, right? The GPT-4 Vision model.
Yeah.
I mean, you can add that into the kernel, but whether it supports, because you need to use a newer version of the REST APIs to interact with the Vision model. It'll be planned. I just don't know how soon. Let me go have a look while we're talking about it.
Yeah. I would imagine that it's the GPT-4 model. It will be the same, but there will be additional sort of functionality or plugin. I haven't tried it myself, but great question. Even within Azure OpenAI, that was just released a couple of weeks ago, right? So
Yeah.
Or in preview as well. Yeah.
There'll be an issue, I'm sure, open to support it. But yeah, because the way you interact with the model, you pass the image data in as part of a parameter. And well, it's an echo. Something's going on with my speakers. I can hear myself.
Yeah, try again. Maybe because of I connected two laptops. So let me just. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's. Do you want to share something, dear sir?
No, sorry. I unplugged my speak. I'm still getting a really bad echo from myself, so I'm not going to. I'm just stop talking, and I will drop the link to the vision stuff in the chat.
Fantastic. Thank you. All right. So with that in mind, unless anyone have any questions, again, put it in the chat. And I'd like to introduce Vinod. So Vinod has been experimenting with bot framework, the Azure Bot Framework SDK with Semantic Kernel. And he's built some interesting project. I saw your videos and so on. I just came across and then I thought, all right, let's see if I can get you to showcase it to the community so that people can, I guess, take a look and review and see whether they can actually reuse that. But I find that bot framework is a little bit underestimated in terms of kind of the powers and so on within chatbot sort of community build. All the builders within community. So we'd love to get you to showcase that. Vinod, I'll share with you and the floor, and feel free to present your demos.
Yeah, thank you, Vivek. First of all, thanks, Vivek and the Semantic Kernel officers teams to show the opportunity for the demo in bot framework, Semantic Kernel, how it's working. So I just share my screen. Okay, before starting this demo, a little bit introduce myself. Again, I'm Vinod. I'm working as a software engineer in Austria, and I'm a Microsoft AI MEP. This is my YouTube channel, Learn Microsoft AI. Here, my focus completely on bot framework and Azure AI services. Once this semantic kernel has been released, my focus on how this semantic kernel adapt this bot framework and how the conversational AI we can get into the next level. So that is my focus. Based on that, I am try some of the samples, how it's working, the use cases and everything. So in this demo, I'm focusing on my first sample, which I created a bot framework with the semantic kernel. So this I'm show the in this demo. So the idea is simple. As a user, for example, this is a weather related bot. So user requested weather, then bot then this request to semantic kernel. Then semantic kernel process this information. So it's find connect to the external API to get the weather information, plus to generate the history of the city, plus it's generated the landmark of the city of the image also. So once semantic kernel prepare this one, then it's a response to the bot, then bot finally responds to the user. So inside semantic kernel, this is idea. So once semantic kernel has received the information, whether it's just plain only the city name or it's a natural language of conversation. No, I like to know the whether the city of blah blah blah, something like that. So it's find the city name using connected Azure OpenAI service. Then one plus the history of the information also. This sample again, as I mentioned, this sample is a old one. So when semantic has been started, then we are using the extract JSON to extract the information, the things. Now we can improve other way, but still I'm keeping this old stuff only. So this information, city and history information, I pass to this extract JSON plugin. There I extract city and history information. Then the third step, I pass the city information to the external plugin, weather plugin, to get the city weather information. Then finally, I'm using this DALI E3 to generate the image. So once all information passed to the bot framework, then bot framework send the response to the user. This is a simple demo, and the idea here is how to use a semantic kernel and improve our conversational AI. That's it.
Fantastic.
So
I like the fact that you use DALI as well in there. So pretty cool.
yeah, thank you. And this demo again, as we already mentioned, Semantic Kernel 1.0 has been released. So yesterday I adapt this package also into my samples. So this code completely based on Semantic Kernel 1.0 version. And I here this Semantic connector. This is a class library. I used a separate project here, and this top one is a bot framework. So in the bot framework, here I pass this user information to the semantic kernel, and as I mentioned, semantic kernel final response I sent to the user. So I quickly show this demo. So I'm using the emulator to check this functionality. So once here is connected, we can send information like, for example, specify the city of interest, like let me know Melbourne. So once I send this information, first step, as I mentioned, semantic kernel try to find the city information is available in the text or not. Once this is found, then it's sent to the weather API to get weather information and DALI to generate the image. So here is our information. This complete information prepared by the semantic kernel. And as you can see that earlier it will little bit take some time because of this DALI image. So it's a little bit lagging to generate the image here. And so here the workflow of the code is simple code. Yeah. To, as I mentioned, so we pass the city information to here. If the city information is not found, I don't process the next step. I just skip the to further processing to all the conditions I am handling here. And one more, this to generate the image, the implementation part. So to generate the image, I here I specify the what is the image size. Maybe because of this also maybe a little bit taking time because I specify the image size is more. The width and height. That's the reason it's taking some time here. Yeah. So this is the basic idea of this semantic kernel, how to adapt in a bot framework application. Yeah, and based on this, for example, if you want to try with the, you don't want to use the Lewis model or Lewis 2.0 model, you want to use the complete semantic kernel to find the intent and entity of this text. Still, you can use the semantic kernel. So for that, I just provide created some plugin how to use this semantic kernel to find the intent. So here I created this plugin concept. Based on this, how we can use in semantic kernel, based on this plugin, how we can use in bot framework also. I provide, I created the video, this one. So using this concept, you no need to use the Lewis model or CLU model. You can just directly adapt this plugin into your bot applications. You can start use of it. And yeah, the next demo I focus on this one, this connecting to this video search using semantic kernel. For example, this especially I feel this is especially used for the enterprise product. If they are using the some, for example, some manufacturing industry, if they are using it, they want to show the some videos also. For example, if users start searching something product information, they want to show the product demo also. This plugin, they can use it, semantic kernel plugin, this YouTube connector. So if once you provide your channel information or your specific channel ID and the channel information, then it starts searching it. And this information also it's provided. You can still display this, some. I just quickly go here. Here you can see this, YouTube video also. So the conversational AI is connected to the semantic kernel. Then semantic kernel process the information plus this process YouTube also. So you can find the related keywords and you can still show to the user, so they can easily access. So this also idea behind here to this YouTube connector. Again, this also I created the plugin to connect the YouTube here. So like that, I start preparing, using trying a different mode of semantic kernel, how it's adapted to this conversational AI to bring into the our conversational AI application to the next level. So that's the idea behind here.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you mind zooming in a little bit on the YouTube video search? If you could share, if you share the code, I'm not sure if you already.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, this available in my GitHub repository. Maybe I'll share the links also. Here my repository sample. Yeah, that's it. The simple demo how to use semantic kernel in bot framework application. If any
Fantastic.
questions, then I can happy to address it. Yeah.
Excellent. Any questions from anyone? To any TSR? And I can see that it's already been adapted to version 1 as well.
Yeah, and I'm going to say I love the fact you're using cancellation tokens. It's good to see that. Often we all skim over good code hygiene, so that was nice to see. I was going to chuck that in the chat. No, that's awesome. Yeah, love the clean code as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. And I already shared your contact details as well in the for anyone who wants to follow up or ask you any questions. Thank you for note. Appreciate that. Amazing demo.
Yeah, thank you.
That's so cool. Yeah, it was well.
Alrighty.
That's awesome.
So moving to Q&A, we have one question from the team. Can you guys hear me okay?
Wow. Yep. Just reading it now.
Okay. Yeah, so we've got a question here around infinite chat, infinite memory. So LLM has a limited amount of token that they can receive, and basically Andy wants to seek some opinions around what would be the best way to structure that and use the memory. And he mentioned about RAG functionality or the MemGPT project. Not sure if anyone already used that. I wonder if anyone has a view on potential solution can be implemented in SK.
So
Yeah,
that's a
my
good
first.
that's a good question. I haven't used MemGPT. Have you guys used MemGPT?
No, I haven't. Anyone else? It's a pretty cool project. Looking at it, but yeah, it's quite active as well, which is very cool. Create perpetual chatbots with self-editing memory. So yeah, interesting.
Because I guess there's other, I mean, if you look, kernel memory does or attempts to do something similar. I guess Llama, come on, my brain's failing me. There's
Llama
the
index.
Llama index.
Index Llama.
Llama index.
Yeah.
Yep. Where I guess because of the problem they're dealing with, right, and we've seen it with these Gen AIs for a long time, is that you hit the context window limit, and so you start to summarize previous parts of the conversation to fit it all into the context, and then you start to lose fidelity. I think that is what kernel memory, and I guess probably MemGPT does, is say, how do we selectively store the previous conversation in a way that we can then provide the right information in follow-up prompts, right? And I know if you look at Chat Copilot, when you analyze the prompt that's being sent, you can see how much of the previous prompt, how much of the prompt or the context window was used by the previous conversation. I don't know if, I'm sure kernel memory team are doing a lot of work in this space of going, how do we actually do all this? But I don't know. I don't think Semantic Kernel itself has said this is, we're going to take, this is something that we take ownership of, generating the or breaking down previous conversations and saying this is what we should and shouldn't pass through. I don't know. Has anyone else looked at that? I don't think I've seen Semantic Kernel looking at that specifically.
Yeah, I would say just a comment on that is that kernel memory, it's being spun out as a I guess as a special project to handle these various memory varying scenarios. Yeah, for this particular one where teaches the model how to structure it and use the memory, the way kernel memory is being architected is that the project team's goal is really wanting to make it as easy as possible to attach different memory opinionated approaches. So whether that's using Llama index or whether that's using different models, like whatever it is, like RAG pattern or natural language SQL extracting method using different approaches and using embedding generator and so on. So as you rightly pointed out, it's probably most likely that the team is looking to leave it to the community to actually build that, that memory component as a plugin. So that you can actually attach to the kernel memory. So yeah, that's probably where things are going to be heading. First is like building something like MemGPT, which is a very opinionated kind of way of doing things, which will solve that particular scenario. But the idea is that we want it to be that placeholder to basically be able to use different set of plugins. Yeah, that's the thought. But I'll check out the MemGPT. It seems very interesting. and I guess Danny also going to be interested as well in that, as well as Vinod in our upcoming projects. Alrighty. So with that, I have no other thing, so we'll keep it, as quickly as we can, I guess, given that it's a light edition, and it's the last edition as well. People are on leave. Yeah, any Q&A or any last minute Q&A that or questions that you guys have.
Nothing for me. I'm just keen to get stuck in.
Awesome. Yeah, we all, it seems like very promising version 1. So don't forget, there's a GIF from the team. So just want to see that there's going to be a lot more real world scenarios, a lot more projects spun up out of the V1. So there will be a lot of things that will be building on top of V1.
Cool. Yeah, and
All
those
right.
vision examples are already in V1 apparently. So apparently the V1 the vision was added last week. Just in time for V1. There we go.
That's great.
Yeah,
So it'll be fun to try.
Kernel,
I don't know about the Python. When's the Python, Vic? When's the Python V1? Did
So-
Alex and Matthew say?
they didn't mention a date, but they hired a few people that are going to start in March, or sorry, not March, February, and then they're going to be looking forward and blasting the Python version as well as
Awesome.
Java.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
yeah, would be
Look forward
great.
to that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
All right.
the last thing that I want to say is thank you very much for everything. And again, Vinod, for coming in. If you got any chance to fill in that survey, which is that end of year recap and feedback, in terms of what we're going to do next year, it's really dependent on this feedback. So really appreciate if you can just fill it in and spare like 1 or 2 minutes filling it in. And what we're thinking, there's multiple of ideas flying around. It may probably more likely we're going to be doing more sort of real world sort of demos, given that V1 is sort of settled, and then as Python and Java kind of come in as well, that will add variety of the discussions and meetings as well around Semantic Kernel. So yeah, thank you again. Thank you very much, everyone
you.
that dialed in, and look forward
Thanks
to seeing you next year.
Thanks for running these, Vic.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, DSL.
Look forward to lots of showcases next year. What we all built over the break. Cheers, guys.
Have a good one.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Vic.